cage for hours. Please. Kiss me.
Greetings and salutations, pilgrim. This here's Cage's Kiss, the Nicolas Cage podcast, in which we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also glean whatever kernels of wisdom in the Cage Gospels that week, children, because God is in his holy temple. Oh, he's a coming. This house is clean. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Linda, but this week I'm the ghost pepper cheese. Where's my money?
And I'm Donnie, or you can call me Ghost Loads, and you know what that is.
Jesus.
I have to follow that. I'm the $6 swirl cone with rainbows, also known as Kristen.
And we have guests this week.
Hey, that's us.
Hey.
Yay.
How old are
Tell
you?
us your names and things about you.
Oh, things about me. Well,
Yeah, what
my
are your
name's Zach
turn-ons?
Stein. I am
Wow.
the host of Chick Flix with Dicks.
With dicks.
With Dicks.
Yay.
I
Just
love
how I
it.
prefer my chicks.
With me, as always, is my co-host extraordinaire, Alex Schumacher.
Maker.
We are from the Central Illinois area. I know you guys are not.
Oh.
Oh,
No.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live out on a farm in Central Illinois.
I have
Wow.
some dear friends in Illinois, but they're all on the lake, you know? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Wait, they're all in the lake?
That's right. They're in the lake.
What did you just admit to?
Look, my mom gave me $1 and dropped me off at the parking ride.
That wasn't Illinois at all.
Oh,
No.
that's
I don't
Lake
know
here.
what that is.
It was Minnesota.
Look, McLean, you get a clear shot, you take him out.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're all from, well, Donnie, Adrian, and I are from Washington and originally California. And Kristen is in just like the world of awesome.
Well, I mean,
I think that's
By which you mean the great
Texas.
state of Texas?
that's how
But-
we need to
but-
start defining where we live.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't.
No.
I was born in Joliet, though, so I know
Oh,
Illinois a little
okay.
bit.
Oh.
So,
Oh.
I'm glad that you say it properly as well. Joliet.
You were born in prison?
Another way people
Yeah,
say
pretty
it.
much.
People say Joliet.
That's something I don't like to talk about.
People say
Oh,
Joliet?
God.
People say Joliet, and I used to
Well,
have
didn't
family
they
up
see the
there.
Blues Brothers?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I figured everybody saw the Blues Brothers.
I'm still pretty sure that Kristen's just like my imaginary friend who lives in my imagination at this
I think
point.
that she must be your lucky star. 'Cause she shines on you wherever
What?
you are. Starlight, star bright.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Adrian,
Aw.
Kristen keeps saying to pay me.
That's right. Our motto at Cage's Kiss is "Fuck you, pay me." We have a Patreon, but most importantly, this week, I can't believe you lost our son. I can't believe you lost our son. How could you? I love that fucking car. Wow, how could you lose our son? Oh my God.
Thank you, Neil Breen.
yeah. We got a Neil Breen style masterpiece. We got a Nicolas Cage spoopy horror movie. Pay the ghost.
My favorite part was when they paid that ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty worth it.
They made it right.
Yeah, that ghost wanted about Tree Fitty.
About 350.
I feel like it brought everything together finally there at the end.
Not everything, just a boy and his father and 2 other random kids.
And speaking of bringing everything together, though, I feel like we're full circle in that we've got the belated sequel to Knowing here.
Pretty much.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they did kind of miss an opportunity to do an Avengers style thing where they're all having Chinese food at the restaurant where the Chinese girl was missing from, since they brought her back as well. they
So they
could've said
just
it
took
there.
the ending to the gate 2, basically, right? Yeah. Except in that one, it's funny because they're all coming out of a grave.
Yeah, and you didn't have some bitch complaining about my heart. I got a bad heart, although I'm a teenager.
Oh yeah. This takes place in New York. You know, in that part of New York that's Canada. Yeah.
Jesus, you're right.
The second unit totally went to New York. None of the cast did.
Yeah, but Nicolas Cage's character gets the letter saying that he's been given tenure from the office of the president and provost of unnamed college in New York, New York.
It's the University of New York at New York.
Yeah.
What was he exactly a professor of, though? That's what I was trying to figure out the whole time. Was
I
it
think
literature
Kids'
or
horror stories? Yeah.
and
Halloween.
then who applauds at the end of a class? Also, what the
Sir,
fuck was that?
I thought this was anthropology. Shut up! I gotta read you some ghosts right now. Yeah.
He's
Look,
the
I really like this
professor
part.
of getting paid and getting laid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some authors are just there to scare the shit out of you. You know, like Jacqueline Suzanne. Yeah, that shit's frightening.
That's why his wife was like, "What the hell? Why were you late again? Because you're off banging."
Did you notice the scene when he looked at his dying phone, and then he was just like, "Huh," and then he looked at his watch like his fucking phone doesn't say what time it is.
It was a place and time.
It's not
He
like
wasn't a
at
professor of
university
time
where
telling.
there's clocks and shit. Yeah.
7:05. I'm gonna test that theory.
You should have checked
Look at my
the
wrist.
efficient
Did
German
some
superior
research.
there. Some research happened.
I wear a watch because fuck you, phone.
When you just make a really big wristband and just put the phone on your wrist?
That's called an iWatch.
Oh, I don't think so.
This was based off of a novel, but I can't help but wonder if the part about him being a professor like came from him because, you know, since his dad was a professor of literature.
Well, wait. It's based on a novel, but I'm going to put puffy air quotes around novel because Tim Levin, the British author here, mostly did novelizations. He did novelizations of 30 Days of Night. He did novelizations of Alien versus Predator and wrote imaginary sequels to it.
Oh my God, yes.
And did an assload of short stories. And in the Wikipedia article, it lists his uncollected short stories. And there's like hundreds of them. It's like, yeah, those aren't ever going to get collected anywhere either, are they?
Well, he's actually won a couple of like international awards for his short stories.
Ooh.
Now, how much credence do you put in those particular awards, though?
Like the
who
Bram
else?
Stoker Award from the actual Writers Guild, which is a pretty
Yeah.
high.
Oh,
It's up
Bram
there.
In your
Stoker.
face.
Top of the morning to ya.
But yeah, definitely not.
Higher than the Grammys, at least.
Anything.
I don't know.
Right.
I think maybe that award ceremony has succumbed to political correctness pressure. I think maybe we need to have a Bram Stoker Sad Puppies immediately. Lady.
Hey, Adrian,
Johnny.
how did you like the movie?
Did I what?
How did you like the movie?
I didn't like the movie so well, no. How'd you
Yeah.
like it, Johnny?
Oh, I didn't like it none whatsoever.
Yeah.
Linda, Kristen,
Why did I have
I'll
to pay
go ahead and
$2.99
speak
for
up.
this here ghost?
I actually, as far as the movies that I've watched in relation to Cage's Kiss, this was not bad. I actually
Oh,
kind
yes.
of enjoyed it.
That's only because
Because
you
it
didn't
wasn't
Yeah, me
seek
too.
justice.
Probably. But, but
mean,
like,
yeah,
I
it's-
enjoyed it.
It
I'm
has
not
problems, but I mean, it's
It
I
has
still feels
problems. Plural.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, don't they all? Pretty much.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah, but I'm saying this has more problems than a movie that I would like watch on purpose would have.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let me lay it on the line here for you. This week I intentionally watched Albert Pyun's Omega Doom with Rutger Hauer and Project Metal Beast DNA Overload with Barry Bostwick. I watched those on purpose. I would not watch Pay the Ghost on purpose.
What did our guests think of this?
Yeah, guests.
I'm really pissed off that I had to pay to watch this movie.
Right?
Thank you.
$3 you're not getting back.
Yeah.
That was
Are you ready to get more pissed?
what?
It's free on YouTube. Just some jackass has uploaded it.
Fuck you, dude.
I'm pissed.
Did you
When I-
set up the account to do so? Are
when
you
I first
possessed?
saw this, it was free
No,
on
I don't
Netflix
have.
back in
I
the
don't
day.
have NordVPN.
No, all the Cage movies we're going through right now, I saw with my friend like back in the day on Netflix, back when they went straight to streaming and never to theaters, and were all free. So I was really mad. They're like, how come I got to pay for this now? Yeah, if I'd known it was on YouTube, I would have said fucking.
Hey, the Cage.
And,
So-
The thing I want to put out there though is I got it on the PlayStation Store, and it was the same cost to rent and to own it. I still rented it.
I
Okay,
encountered
all right,
that with
all right.
Deep Blue Sea, so
More
I can
credit to
feel
you
that.
then.
I would buy Deep Blue Sea for the
Ah,
price
yeah.
that it pays for this movie.
Would you buy it for $1 or is it going to be more? You know this.
It would be a little more. I mean, I would pay a little more for Deep Blue Sea.
like
Only
like at a
because,
gas station for
only
$1.73.
because- yeah, if you find it like a gas station bin, but only because when LL Cool J says, "You ate my bird," that's it.
Okay, so Deep Blue Sea, fun fact, the husband and wife screenwriting team that wrote that movie later wrote a Showtime series with Eric Stoltz about themselves.
Diaries? Oh.
No. they got Eric Stoltz and I forget who the actress was playing a husband and wife screenwriting team. It's about their super interesting, i.e. not problems. And it's like the most pretentious, awful series ever. It's called Out of Order, and William H. Macy was on it.
Ooh.
Never heard
Hear
of it.
another Deep Blue Sea fact.
Yes.
Yes.
So Samuel L. Jackson was actually method acting that, and he actually got eaten by that fucking shark.
Oh,
He is so in character.
That is so dedicated to the role. Like that's
Yeah,
That's
then
next
the shark
level.
stuffed him for the
Harlan's credited, but it's in fact John Cassavetes. It was all method.
well. The director of Pay the Ghost is
Jesus, Leo
Lee Edel.
Yeah, last exit to Brooklyn and fucking Body of Evidence.
Dude, he
That's
also
Madonna
did.
movie?
The 2000 classic, The Little Vampire.
Oh well.
Andy Adrian
Wait, was that
Brody
the last kid?
Houdini.
Oh, I
thing.
hate that kid.
Yeah.
Oh, punch him.
But again, Body of Evidence, the Basic Instinct knockoff starring Madonna.
Okay.
But he
Stop
also
right.
did the awesome TV movie Rasputin with Alan Rickman.
I did hear that was pretty good. I haven't seen it though.
I didn't
Oh,
see that
he is
because the
But-
real Rasputin is Christopher Lee, and everybody else needs to back off. Just saying.
I would put Rickman up as a close second. I would watch it. So
I would too. Yeah.
I'd check
I don't
it out.
know. Does Alan Rickman ever be all like, "Bring her to me"?
Well, actually, he's more like silent because he's dead. So yeah.
Oh,
Damn it, Donnie.
Too soon. Too soon.
join the
too
club. You know, it's never too soon for a
Soon. For
dead
Alan
person.
Rickman, it's always too soon. I will fight you.
I'm
Always.
Always.
so.
Exactly.
September 25th, 2015 is when Pay the Ghost got haunted on all of us here. I could not find a reported budget, but I'm not imagining it's all that big.
Especially considering that YouTube channel looking ass intro to, for the production companies. This movie made by Buster Rhymes 997XX. The new next to Golden Meyer.
Worldwide, it made $2.9 million. And I'm
Wow.
imagining it probably cost a smidge more than $2.9 million just because Cage is in it and he usually likes money.
That's not bad for movies shot on mini DV.
Right? Yeah.
Wait, is that
Look,
box
Dad,
office?
there's skeletons.
Is that box office in American dollars?
No, that's worldwide adjusted dollars for all the various markets. Well, I'm gonna get into that here. So it did not go to any theaters in the US whatsoever. It was straight to streaming and on demand and DVD and Blu-ray and all that. But of all the countries where it was released, it actually did its best business in Mexico. Where it ran for 5 weeks, and it opened at number 7 behind the Point Break remake and an Alvin and the Chipmunks sequel and Star Wars Force Awakens.
That's called the Squeakquel, and it will be.
Yeah.
No,
Get
it
it
was
right.
the first sequel. I think it was the further on one. I'm not sure, but It's the Squeak trilogy now. So in other markets, it was a little less impressive, especially in Lebanon, where it earned only $3,000 in 2 weeks.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So
Wow.
now the funny thing is like most of our recent Cage movies have all been direct to streaming or direct to DVD in the U.S.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the last few all did really good business in the United Arab Emirates, but for some reason, they didn't care for this one there. Yeah. Whatever accounts for that.
I would like to take this time just to out of the blue remind us that I believe Alan Rickman got nudie for Rasputin. So,
Yeah,
Sorry,
but
wow.
not fully.
Should we also mention that that Cage alumni Joel Schumacher died this week?
Yeah.
The
rip.
week of
yeah.
What is his
Yeah.
last name?
Huh?
Yeah.
That
Always synonymous with putting
we're in
nipples
the
on
presence.
Batman.
The nipples was actually the least of the problems. Let's
Yeah.
be real.
Yeah.
Are you
Nice
sure?
to see you. It's a cold town.
Always winterize your pipes.
It's Mr. Freeze. They had to have the nipples because it was really cold in there.
Franchise.
Yeah, he's a murderer.
But to his credit, Schumacher did 8mm, and Trespass was not the worst Cage movie. It still wasn't the best, but that's
But he also put nipples on Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. Okay, let's think
He
about
did
let's
do
think about all the
8mm.
possible permutations of that. Like think about it. If you get into the Furryverse, there he could have put more nipples on Batman.
If you think of a bat,
He could have
don't
made.
they have multiple?
There could have been they could have done like the 6 nipple setup on that.
Well, shit. Now I gotta look this up.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
How many nipples do bats have?
Well, remember also too in the furry universe, you decide that your character is a hybrid of some kind. Like no, they're part bat, but they're part cheetah. And then they decide what kind of various other genitals and shit.
Maybe we'll
Oh.
get a chibi Batman
You
soon.
mix and match. Like look, this is in robot form and this is jam form.
Yes, me, daddy.
And here's MLP
Oh, hey, here's a fun fact.
MLP/FNAF.
While we're talking
Mhm.
about nipples, bats have nipples in their armpits.
Well, yeah, they're mammals.
Yeah.
Where are
It's
your
like
nipples?
In their
Nipples in their
armpits,
waist.
though.
Armpits.
Yeah, where are your nipples at?
Yeah.
Wait, yours aren't?
That makes
Yeah.
me very uncomfortable.
Where the tits at.
You know, like when you have that like thigh rub going on and it sucks. Man, all the time.
Oh, the chafing.
Man. Yeah, armpit chafing's no good either.
You can
Damn.
never go
Just
for a
staring
run.
out my nips.
You have to run. You have to
Speaking
go
of
to the run
nipples.
everywhere.
Speaking of erect, crusty nipples, our screenwriter was a guy named Dan Kay, who wrote and directed something called Way Off Broadway, and wrote a horror thing called Timber Falls, and a Pierce Brosnan movie called IT.
Yeah, a lot of
I
the
have
speed
seen
stuff
that.
seems to be the graveyard for a lot of old actors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when Pierce Brosnan got fat for Mamma Mia?
Yeah.
Remember when we all watched this movie and 2 of us didn't regret it?
That was really weird. Speaking of deep and throbbing regrets here, Kristen was
Talk about
played
me
by
like
Sarah Wayne Callies, who was born in 1977 and did a shitload of TV like Prison Break and The Walking Dead, and
Yeah.
she was on Law and Order SUV
Yeah.
and TSE SD.
ST.
Yeah, that. And this movie, as the cop there, has also got Larique Bent from Jamaica, whose first film was The Caveman's Valentine, also with Samuel L. Jackson, which was awesome. And unfortunately, he's also in a lot of TV in the Saw sequels.
Oh.
But we do have one distinguished credit on this movie. The music was by Joseph Loduca, who did the Evil Dead trilogy.
Oh.
Yeah,
That was nice.
that's why some of the score is good, except for that stupid Halloween parade scene.
Some of the score is good, but the editing was fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah.
I found
Yeah.
it charming.
They didn't use the score in places where they should have used the.
Oh
No.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
god
Well,
awful.
why use music when you can have a stupid sound effect scare?
Your jump scares.
Yeah, just keep staring out that window. The effects will show up eventually.
Yeah. Son, I don't know why I'm staring out this window. Dad, they're rendering. Come on.
Like, this isn't one of those jump scare videos, is it? No. No.
Shiny, happy people. Ah! Why would you show me that? That's
a bunch of
not
bees.
Pumpkin with me.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of missing in this movie, is him screaming, how'd this get burned repeatedly, but instead he just replaced it with, where's my son? Where's my boy?
Oh, yeah. Don't you just love that part where he's like, Charlie, you come out here now, Charlie boy, Charlie.
Actually, no.
It turned into the scene in The Misfits, right? You know, where Clark Gable's freaking out, Marilyn Monroe has to drag his drunk ass away.
My favorite part of this entire movie that just made me laugh hysterically was when the cop told him, did you look at home? Do you live nearby? And then he just takes off and goes immediately home. He's like, did you not even consider where the fuck you live? You could have driven for 20 minutes and then go, oh, are you home?
Actually, you're not considering another possibility. It's
Cell phone?
Halloween. That's not a cop. That's just some dude.
Those strippers don't always have the best cop advice.
I was thinking that too, though, because I was thinking like he's surrounded by people with costumes.
No, Linda. We learned from this movie that there's only two possible Halloween costumes: cowboy or pirate. Superhero has been theorized, but has not actually been displayed.
Sir, just
about
because
Robin
I
Hood?
look like a cop does not mean you can
He
treat
did say
me like a
Robin
cop.
Hood. Yeah.
And Sanders Robin Hood that steals from the rich and gives to the poor.
Right.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that I will be Robin Hood because Robin Hood, he lives in the Sherwood Forest and he wears a costume and lives in a tree and he steals things and sometimes he keeps the things but sometimes he gives them away. That would be Robin Hood. I would like to do that.
Robin Hood and Nick Cage. Da-da-dee-dee-dee-dee-da.
I like how you make Charlie sound like Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
Yes, totally.
You know, Cage told Charlie that if he got into trouble, he should go back to that place by the creek. I don't know why he didn't go live there.
He talked to him about the rabbit.
So, you notice how at the end that fade out comes kind of fast. I wonder if they deleted the scene where CPS took Charlie away for them having kept him out of school for a whole year.
It wasn't CPS, it was a ghost.
Oh, maybe that's
No, they just ran out of budget right there.
Yeah.
Filmed sequentially, so
That must be why he couldn't find his cowboy hat too.
yeah.
He didn't have a budget for the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
They spent it all on that shirt.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice cowboy shirt and totally
Yeah,
matches a
noticed.
pirate theme.
And
Yes.
that awesome vulture.
Yeah, the shirt kind of goes with his snakeskin jacket.
That's what I was like, this is wild at heart. This is
My
so
sorry,
sincerity and my belief in personal
His
freedom.
son could not find a fucking eye patch, but that little bitch drew on an eye patch. He couldn't do something for a hat.
Notice when Charlie first vanishes and he like goes for the next kid who's dressed as a pirate, like this surely must be Charlie, and the mother's like, wrong kid. What's wrong with you? It's
Stranger danger.
like you're a mother in New York, and this is your only reaction. You're not gonna start macing him or something. Going like rapist, trying to rape my child.
Well, I love when they talk to the school teacher priestess character, and she's like, they're saying, well, our son has been missing since Halloween, and she looks at them kind of like they're crazy, and then she goes on to say like, this what we're doing behind me? Oh yeah, it's because the ghost comes back every year or something.
That scene,
She's
though,
like,
that scene.
I'm just a school teacher.
Yeah,
There you go.
Hey, we heard the song. We were curious. She's like, we're just having some fun. It's like, my son was kidnapped. It's like,
I don't know anything about that.
way to ruin everybody's fun, you piece of
it's
shit.
like, hey, look at my culturist.
Honestly, I'm a
don't
American
remember.
school teacher, but I'm going to know eerily much about this.
I know it's giving away a little bit much of my own personal mind. I swear I don't have dementia yet, but it's every time we've been watching these, whenever we get a shitty movie of his that we just can't stand, I start picturing that Nick Cage is kind of like in a Last Action Hero type scenario where he's in all these movies and he just keeps going from one role to the other. So as soon as that teacher priestess shows up, he starts having flashbacks to Wicker Man.
Yeah.
He's like, Sam Hain, this bitch, and starts just beating on her, wailing. Remember how they broke his limbs and fed him to bees? And his wife's like, oh my God, what are you doing? She was helping us. Like, fuck your harvest. This won't save anything.
Just cutting the end of Friday the 13th Part 4 was just like, die! Die! No, Cage, no! Die!
I mean, the character, she's just kind of looking at him. I mean, as she should be. She's looking at him like he's fucking crazy. But and she says, well, I'm just a school teacher. But then she's like, oh, yeah, well, the kids have to burn something in offering to this witch so she doesn't take them.
She also didn't blink an eye when his wife is like, oh, hey, something possessed me and tried to kill me by carving these symbols into me.
Nasty arm. Yeah,
yeah, it's like, I do usually cut myself to know that I still feel something, but look at this.
It's like adrenaline. Pain is such a sudden rush for her.
Yeah.
Well, why couldn't his German professor friend tell them about that?
Well, she
because
did
he
later,
did not see anything.
she?
Well, I think she like.
And frankly,
God,
he got it.
You sons of bitches.
Why kill her after she helps?
Petty. That's a petty fucking ghost.
That is a petty ass ghost.
Yeah, if you stay tuned during the credits, like the beginning of the credits, you find out that his professor friend is now the ghost.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That was?
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, I turned it off.
It literally
Impaled-
like
yeah,
a
no,
minute and
yeah.
a half into credits.
I turned it off right when the credits started.
Well,
Good.
I did
I mean,
too
good,
the first
yeah.
time.
Like to say that you were missing anything would be an exaggeration.
They're eating at her
But
body.
that being
Wait,
said, did they expect a
Oh, they never
sequel?
picked her up.
Dude, they always
Well,
expect
don't
a
it.
sequel. They thought that this was the new Insidious or some shit, you know.
You know,
Oh,
if
this
they
was
hadn't
a ripoff
wasted
of
fucking
Insidious.
time
It's
on that
horrible.
scene.
I never saw that.
They could have actually wrapped this movie up without just cutting to
Absolutely.
black.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
without a
this
doubt.
movie, if you watch enough ghost movies, you start to realize ghosts really are just bitches. Every time you find out why they're cursed, why they're so pissed off, and you give them what they want, like, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? I'm
No.
gone. And it's like, fuck you, I'm back. It's like, I
I'm
don't
still
care.
mad
Yeah,
because
bitches.
one
Donnie.
time, 400 years ago, I got murdered. Yeah, and I want my kids back. I want my kids back, okay? It's like, your kids have been dead for like 400 years also. Like, give me my kids back. Give me my kids back.
Oh yeah, can the Celtics explain that? How the ghost can take your kid, but your kid is totes still alive and safe and come back to our plane for 1 year and 1 year only? Is there an expiration date?
I think that
Yeah,
part they were
wonder.
ripping off Abraham Merritt's The Moon Pool a little bit, you know, but maybe that's just me.
I don't know. Maybe the book is better.
Okay,
I mean-
one of you are going to read it.
Something
No.
something being better than this,
Kinda have
I think is fairly possible, but it was also written by that guy who
Yeah.
did those AVP sequel novelizations.
Although, to be fair, those might also be better than AVP because that was a terrible movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
anything.
I'll
An
bet-
anal abortion is better than Requiem.
I'll bet they're at least better than Alien
Anal
vs.
abortion?
Predator Requiem.
An anal alien abortion.
Yeah,
Oh,
Alien
that
is
is where they
not
are born.
all right with me. Yeah.
Yep, that's where babies come from.
Yeah. So,
Hey, you didn't know nipples are under arms too, so F you.
There you go.
Don't judge our gender.
in this
I'm
movie, the spoopy shit, right? It happens once a year on Halloween.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know. And
What a coinkydink.
Yeah.
so-
It's very original.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was.
It's a whole new twist on it.
It's a petty, unoriginal, just bitch ass mom ghost.
it was doing very well last night. Maybe someone around here gave him lessons.
I think Donnie alluded to it early. It's a Karen ghost.
It very much is.
Fucking
I watched
lights
him.
up the steak. I
I think-
still want to speak to the original manager.
You bring your supervisor over here right
Right
now.
Well, when like you demand to speak to wife's manager. That's
Kristen and I were talking on Facebook, and she made a really good point that I totally thought of too.
Kristen, you want me to say? Okay, I guess I'll say it. So the ghost is very what's the word I used? Ethnically inclusive.
Oh yeah. It's like stealing kids every Halloween.
I mean, I have to give her props for that at least.
It gets the kids like in a '90s cereal or toy commercial.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Where it's like, yes, it is multicultural and very purposely so. It's like, okay, so we gotta get a kid with one of them Latin dispositions. All right, then we gotta get one of them Asian ones. All right, yeah, we gotta get every kind of kid. That's every kind. Right?
Make sure one of them's a girl.
Yes.
Do you think she mistaken Charlie because he had blackface on?
Yeah. That's why she let him go. Yeah.
She's like, oh, this is an HR nightmare. I gotta let you go.
I can't do this. My quotas are all off now.
They're gonna flame me on the Twitter. No.
Yeah, canceled.
Hashtag cancel Charlie.
You're gonna sound like Miss Cleo there. Follow me for your free reading.
Say it's preserve us. I need to let you go.
I had a call
all children's lives end with me.
So, did anybody else think that the supernatural street person was like Tommy Wiseau?
Yes.
Like
I have in my notes.
It's Tommy. You got to get the ghost.
He made a lot. I love that he knew nothing the first time. Like he didn't know shit, and then all of a sudden he's like, I have all of the answers.
He only knows on Halloween though.
Metaphorically only. Because
it's all very. It was a long con actually for Cage to give the money to that one father. Yeah, that's why.
$50.
Yeah. That $50. That was only at $50.
I mean, that's pretty much the entire movie, though. It's like ghosts don't exist, and then Cage sees his dead son. He's like, "Oh my god, ghosts exist! This is totes real." And then the same thing with the detective. He's like, "I believe in logic and reasoning." Oh my god, a grease fire in a Chinese restaurant. Ghost.
There is no other possible explanation.
Yes, it's just like signs. It's like signs are all around us.
Fucking signs. It's like, oh, look, everybody just all got together and decided that UFOs were real at the same time.
Swing away, Donnie.
Well, the bus scene actually does prove more than what you're alluding to.
Yes.
What if God was one of us?
Just a kid who's on a bus.
Except for the Pope may be in Rome.
Like a hole in Rolling Stone.
That's actually the speed bus. That's 5 minutes after
that part there. With the bus, I'm thinking like, man, I could be watching Jacob's Ladder right now. Fuck this shit. Also, on the part where the Halloween street parade, on that one part, that's the reason why I forgot that this was supposed to take place in New York. I thought it was yet another New Orleans movie from Cage.
I really thought that at first, the parade,
Yeah, because it's like, oh, look, it's really noisy and annoying, and there's costumes and stuff. It must be New Orleans again, Mardi Gras.
Shitty jazz music. This must be New Orleans.
Sounds like East St. Louis to me.
Yeah. Just the Midwest.
East St. Louis.
Well, excuse me.
Oh, excuse me. Want to try my horseshoe and Casey's Pizza? Don't forget the ranch.
The Midwest is a place that I've been over on a plane and through on a train.
I resent that.
I was going to make a mom joke.
I'm just kind of pissed about it.
Oh, no, I've been to Chi-Town, but it was just to the airport and the train station.
Jeez.
Your trains come down here, damn it. 45 miles away from us.
I was 9 years old. Don't go blaming me for your problems.
Chicago is our problem.
I didn't know that. What, with all that murder and shit? You don't like that? No.
Oh, no. He's actually pretty good on keeping up with them for that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we murder the fuck out of their murder statistics.
Best murders in the state.
Let's get the numbers up.
We're blue and we just shoot each other all day. It's like the Wild West of liberals.
Basically.
Oh my God.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah. It could be worse. We're not Detroit.
Donnie's.
We're not Texas.
Yeah.
Hey. Hey.
Oh.
Nah, you're right. It's fine.
How many listeners are we alienating?
That's what we try.
Well, we got rid of all the
episode.
gypsies
It's
already,
really
so you're welcome.
close in on the
Jesus.
group and get rid of them.
What
yeah.
types of thieves?
Well, Donnie and I came from Stockton, California, so I mean,
Oh. There you go, right there.
You needed to take California's temperature. Stockton's where you'd put the thermometer.
Just jam it right up there. So yeah, that's kind of giving away one of my face-off choices from what you were saying earlier, Adrian. Like at first, like the first couple seconds, I totally thought that was Tommy Wiseau. Like an older version, old blind homeless Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, hi, Mike.
You know, I would like to mention we're almost 40 minutes into this, and not one person has explained what this plot was to the movie. What exactly happened?
Do you know?
Okay, so
Yeah.
Kate is a professor
I know
in
there's
New
a
York,
ghost.
and then there's a series of ghost movie and child endangerment cliches. Then it ends seemingly for no reason.
And
Oh,
Did I
and
miss
it's a
anything?
terrible
The
scene.
psychic-
It's horrific. When the mom makes the kids lunch the night before school, you know that sandwich is going to be soggy as shit the next day.
Yes!
That
Yeah.
pisses me off.
Yeah,
I was so mad about that.
Yeah,
Just
that way
also-
just fucking Crustables, you bitch.
exactly.
No. Back in our day, you just ate that crust, okay? You might have ate it last, but you still ate it.
Sad.
On your plate.
Crustables are the shit,
We were fine
especially
with
when you're
that.
high as fuck.
I'm just saying that sometimes that crust the best part. I want the shit where there's crust all the way around each individual slice.
Jesus.
Oh, then
You've
you get
had that
like
sandwich
one
out
of the
for
brownie
2
pans, you know,
hours.
that's all edges.
Oh,
but
the
for-
perfect brownie?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for
Oh,
sandwich.
God.
Oh, dude.
Just
Yeah.
bake fucking bread in it.
No. fuck
That's
you.
fucking brownie
Dude, give me
heaven
the
right there.
centerpiece.
I'm the same.
You
I
don't want
the
brownie?
centerpiece, too.
You don't want brownie crusty?
No.
It's a
That's the best
contrast
part.
with the moistness on the inside. It's like a good steak, son.
Brownie
It's a
crusty
good
had a
chewiness. It's like Ren and Stimpy. You just go chew.
You gotta have multi-dimensional shit. Otherwise, it's just one thing. You can't have one
yeah.
note.
Mm-mm.
If
I
you have
don't
one
know.
note, it's like a movie that's just cheap scarcity. So
Cake is the same way.
you want only the middle piece on the cake?
Yeah.
I'm the same.
And
Are you like this with the pizza too?
no, I love the crust, but
Okay, all
what about
right.
also with pie, I love the crust.
Wait,
but,
what'd you say?
you know, when you're fucking a pie, it's best to go in the center.
Mm-hmm.
You
Absolutely.
know, you
Okay.
could just get a can of pie filling.
Yeah, but then you
and for
risk
the
cutting on
record,
the can.
What? No, you
Totally,
transfer it. You
Sharp
transfer
edges.
it to a safe container.
crack and cook an egg on the middle of your pizza. You're welcome.
Twapperware.
What about the Earth's crust?
I don't like it.
I like it.
Let's get to the magma of this situation.
No, I want to live in the middle where it's more burny.
Jeez.
And on the topic of the pie filling and great places to stick your dick in,
Oh God! Is this
please
your
send
nudity segment?
all your new not used fleshlights to Cage's Kiss at P.O. Box 14895 Mill Creek, Washington 98082.
And listeners, if you have new and better ideas of food items to stick your dick in, send them to the same P.O. box.
Or Twitter.
The post office is gonna hate you.
Did we
Send us the food.
That's how you get
unsold.
ants.
Oh no, I'm not saying I didn't like it.
Wait. You don't gotta get ants. You can do that shit all tidy, like in the bathtub.
Yeah,
Don't
like
stick
a
your dick in
normal
these holes.
person.
Don't stick your dick in these holes. Don't stick your dick in these holes.
Oh
That's
yeah,
why they
so
didn't
there's a
make
movie.
the ghost a guy in this one.
Actually, speaking of which, I have one thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Please do.
So Nick Cage was in the Home for Infinite Losers. That's what I'm calling like the cabin where those kids were at. And if he's like walking walking through all those kids who are like at his waist high, does that mean he's literally been inside all those children?
Oh,
I would say yes. That's why you couldn't look him in the eyes.
The island of misfit toys just got darker.
So really, this was that he should have been paying them. Paying those.
So those are the ghosts he needed to be.
Oh, this is what we paid the ghost for.
These kids are free.
Oh, so like the ghost is a pimp.
Yeah,
So,
see, that
wait,
would have been
wait.
a good. That would have been a better
So,
story. Pay the ghost.
is-
It's all about hookers that he killed and didn't pay, and they all want their money.
Patrick
the
Swayze
ghost.
movie now.
Pimps up, hose down.
So you're saying this is an autobiography?
Yes.
It's the
Don't
Jared from
look in my
Subway
trunk.
story.
The sequel.
Oh, no.
What
So
exactly
on that,
were they
Linda, was there any
paying
nudity in this for you?
Oh yeah. Linda, what's your segment called?
I want his clothes off. Clothes off. No.
But do you?
No.
Well, they said the word shit at one point. Surely there were also tits.
I'm so sad that I
Those
missed that I was too sick for the last episode because you got Sarah J. Paulson tete and her right tete. And
Usually.
I was so excited about that. and you got like blurry half of cage ass. But I mean, it was nice. Like, you know, I had a good variety there. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
no
Awesome.
half asses in this one though.
Well, you kind of see that the psychic lady on the inside, though.
oh, that's
So-
true.
I mean,
Burned inside.
I don't think it's the same, but
Her
it's
shirt's
close.
totally off, but then so is her chest.
Yeah.
Internal cam, I guess.
Yes.
You think they could have done like a face-off kind of thing, right? Where they go all out of focus and you see him just lifting it off in the background, like, put this to one side.
Not gonna lie, I would have loved if they did like a Raiders of the Lost Ark thing and just started melting her face when she was pinned against the wall.
Yeah.
But that would have meant they had a budget.
That whole scene though, it's like, oh, they got a medium. I bet she's just here to get killed by the ghost. Oh, yep.
That was
Yeah,
really
the
hilarious.
time with the phone call to get her. It was
Yeah.
just and
Yes.
And surprise.
Yeah. She just appears. She's
That
like
was just hilarious.
Zelda. What's her name?
Did you
Zelda
guys ever
Rubinstein.
see the
Yeah.
first Witchboard movie from 1986?
Yes, yes.
The whole bit with the medium on that one was so much better because she's like this jackass. She's got all this like excessive personality, and you're like, oh no, this is our medium, you know. And then she just winds up like almost despite herself, sort of figuring it out about Mal Fedor.
You know, this actually does kind of tie in, if you think about it, with Deep Blue Sea, because when they bring the medium in, you're kind of like, all right, cool, this is going to be like a poltergeist thing. No, she gets her ass fucking murdered, and they just watch it.
I think legally it was arson because they just set her on fire.
Yeah. It was a ghost.
They made her blue eye brown. There, what's that mean? Where they're from?
Well,
that means
notice
someone
like
that on your face.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Wait, were you asking where we're from or where they're from?
Sorry, I
notice
said
that
it.
there's like nothing going on with the kid. Like there's nothing for a
There was
year.
something. Did you see
Well-
that like 45-year-old receding hairline that kid had?
His
That's how you know it's
That-
Cage's
He has to
boy.
be bald. Plus he got teeth. This is not a sponsorship.
I'd argue that the kid had nothing going on before. He had no friends or anything, and he didn't seem to watch television. He was just into costumes.
Maybe he was just a Make-A-Wish kid, and he wanted to be in a movie, and this was what they gave him. He's like, I want to die.
He reminded me though a lot of the kid in Knowing too, like with all the other
Yeah.
parallels going on. It's like you cannot tell me I cannot stay up and watch my program. I saw 80 people die today. You were being unfair to me, Cage. You were a bad daddy.
Your mom's dead.
They were in front of me and they were on fire. Oh.
This is the oldest I've ever seen him look, sound, and feel. I didn't feel like this was a Nick Cage film.
It really
Yeah,
did.
he just
Yeah, I
seemed
agree.
tired.
Yeah. I mean, he was about to start This was one of 27 films over the next 5 years. So.
And his son was just abducted, so I mean, forgive him.
Right?
Yeah, come on.
He's just thinking about all those bills he's got to pay.
Yeah, I mean that'll really take the wind out of your sails.
Well, he's one thing that's consistent about him is when people ask him about why he chose certain roles, is he's always saying that because it was different and because it posed a challenge to him. And I know that he said that in a couple interviews that I went through. Like in complex.com, he said that, quote, I like to give it some variety, and I certainly prefer to mix it up, at least in terms of, is there something else I can do with the character? Is there something else I could do with the genre?
Yes.
I like the idea of, for example, going from a political drama like The Runner into a suspense and horror film like Pay the Ghost. But I also have to have something in my own life that I feel I can pull from in order to play that part honestly and to give it some integrity, at least from an acting standpoint.
I'm doing the Chrissy Teigen, whatever you call it right now, the scowl or whatever the is. That's what I was doing.
No,
like you were reading that.
He utilized the emotional memory about the time that Weston got sucked into the TV.
Yeah. He likes when movies are offer something different, like paying you in cash up front. Yeah.
The ghost of Cage is career.
He actually said that he resents when people think that he just picks the roles for money.
He's never going to be on the show now.
It's hard to tell whether or not he believes the shit he says when we get on this topic, though. You know, it's like either you're really slick or you're a little unhinged.
Well, I feel like he just kind of throughout his career, he's just kind of built up his own legend, his own mythos that it's hard to know what the hell is true about him from what he says. If you listen to him, he changed his name to Cage because he wanted to avoid nepotism, and the kids on the set of Fast Times at Ridgemont High gave him shit because they thought he was just benefiting from nepotism. But then if you ask one of them, they say that he was just being obnoxious about it and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm Francis Ford Coppola's nephew."
I mean, he was 17, so I'd be more than willing to believe he was pretty obnoxious. I mean, what 17-year-old isn't?
Yeah,
exactly.
Nick Cage, why did you do this movie? Well, you get you get on the bus and you get there.
Huh?
It's
like a dollar store version of Christopher Walken.
To reinvent so many social norms. Yeah, it's like Cage. It's a romantic comedy. Yeah, I feel like it really shatters, interpersonal, nowadays, the way we communicate, it's
time is a social construct developed by the communist. What?
Oh, that would be so much harder for us if he just started spouting off Lyndon LaRouche type shit.
No, he's actually part of the Yang Gang, but I should also say that he's talked about how he has a love for the genre of horror and thriller, but only he doesn't like the slasher films. He prefers the old Universal ones and the Hammer horror.
Right, which is why the 3 Cage horror movies we've done have all been really lame supernatural type ones.
Right?
It's and I'm not dissing supernatural horror. I love Mario Bava. I love Suspiria. Supernatural horror is great. When it's not these. Season of the Witch, really, really lame costume thing. And the Wicker Man remake is the Wicker Man remake.
Well, he said that the horror genre fascinated him and has always fascinated him, and that he sees horror film as, quote unquote, sort of the outlaw of Hollywood. And he said that it's a club that he's been trying to break into for a long time. And I'm thinking, like,
if you look at the 80s, right, where people like Silent Night, Deadly Night, like people were like decrying it, like you can't have a movie with a killer Santa Claus, it'll ruin America. It's like, yeah, like Reagan wasn't doing that already, you know. And Margaret Thatcher like banning every horror film or chopping it in half for release in England. You know?
Reaganomics.
Speaking of, I found some very challenging reviews.
Donnie, what were your reviews?
Well, apparently a lot of people had problems with this playing, and a lot of other people just had problems because they expected more from Nicolas Cage. Like, a lot of the reviews
I have
expected
a big
a lot
problem with
more.
it playing. For some reason, the picture's greenish throughout, and in other scenes, it's just entirely desaturated. I don't get it.
But, so, let's start off with a shorty.
Okay.
Piece of supernatural shit. I am a Nick Cage fan and do love his low-budget movies and the real cool stuff. But this is Poltergeist wannabe meets a home recording VHS system in the age of 3D and GoPro. Don't waste your money or time on this one. Watch Finding Nemo instead and order pizza. Can I have my money back?
Why are the only two movies in the world to then pay the ghost in Finding Nemo? What the hell?
I know, but it's the same as people who still think the Season of the Witch was a good choice. But another
Then
shorty.
again, a lot of these reviews were written by people who think that Con Air was Cage's best movie.
This is true. But another shorty we had
Blair
was
Witch, the first one wasn't bad, and it was groundbreaking.
I'm gonna say this right now. If you put a gun to my head and say watch Blair Witch or Blair Witch 2 Book of Shadows, I'm gonna watch Book of Shadows because that one's at least hilarious.
Yeah, that one was hilarious. But also the last broadcast kind of got trampled under all that.
The best found footage movies are Cannibal Holocaust and Cloverfield.
True.
I fucking love.
I agree.
Thank you.
Rackham Packham or Phantoms of Five.
So let's
Recognize
see, we
these
have
teeth.
horribly boring. Cage looks like a vampire on some close-up scenes. Not a lot happens through most of the film. Just Cage and his wife sad their son is missing. The first hour of the film is just Cage running around saying, "Where's my son? Save yourself some money." But
How could you lose him? How could you lose him? How could you lose him? I'm gonna make a peanut butter sandwich.
Of all the reviews, this is the last one is the longest I could find and most critical to a fun degree. Oh God. Another cliche-driven Nicolas Cage vehicle, not movie. Insidious ripoff. When will Cage let the director make the movie? I thought after Season of the Witch, which is a good movie for the genre, that this might have been entertaining. I was wrong. Bruce Willis, Will Ferrell, and Nick Cage. All three will ruin any movie they're in. All you have to do is think who would be better in this part, and you can see the movie improve. But that takes imagination, and isn't that what art's all about? Alan Rudolph, the director, had an observation. The people they pay these people in Hollywood all that to make bad art. Or maybe they get these guys to make their movies like the old studio days for room and board.
This is a fucking manifesto.
Like, all right, wrap it up. Play the play-out music.
Yes, for room and board.
My friend Thomas Simpkins Willis made me watch this movie. I'm gunning for you, Thomas Simpkins Willis. He lives at the following address. Kill him.
For room and board? No, I don't think so. People working in movies aren't that smart. It is probably tax reasons. Of course, Cage is someone's famous nephew.
That went all over the place.
He tried. He really went into a couple of dark areas.
He tried and still got a C on the paper.
Well, movies this decade have been bullshit.
Wikipedia.
Did not cite sources.
Like, we do have a studio system run rampant, you know, and there's no individual creative control and everything's done by committee. However, this is not a big studio movie.
No.
Like, not even close. Like, you get washed up Uli Adele. It's like, I have been doing the televisions. I would like to do the films. Yes.
I do
If you
have
had said
to
something
agree.
like, and then Nietzsche said, I would have just stopped. But no.
But I have to agree with like so many people have already mentioned that it's just like an Insidious ripoff.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt like when I was watching it. I was just like, oh, okay, I can tell that they're going for like an Insidious vibe.
Well, even like the ghost behind his shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like an exact scene from there, isn't it?
All of this has become very much the cliche in the straight to streaming horror. If you go onto Amazon and just watch whatever quote unquote horror movie is recommended to you that only went to Amazon, it's going to have all this shit in it. It's like, I'm going to watch the palm quarter that my son shot at the carnival. Look, he's shooting himself in the mirror, yet the shot doesn't move when the camera does. Oh, no, look, ghost footage suddenly on the mini DV tape. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, nobody saw The Ring or anything.
Yeah.
Well, once I saw that camcorder in that kid's hands, I was just like, oh, fuck. Like,
you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Then the kid ignores the skeletons and zooms in on the lady from the Woman in Black trailer, and then with the same screen.
I thought this was actually going to be like a real kidnapping movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Yeah.
No,
He was
like,
kidnapped.
but with a person like actually doing the kidnapping, not a fucking ghost.
Are you saying ghosts don't have rights?
They don't have rights.
Hey, there could have been a ghost ransom for all we know.
Wait a minute. So
unalienable rights. You don't die with those rights.
if they arrest the ghost, can they send them right to Guantanamo?
That's true. Yeah.
It's like, we got the gold you asked for. Melt it down. Why? Because it's useless to me in your world. So you actually have commerce in the ghost world? Shut up and do it.
Just do what I say. I'm in charge here. Fuck you,
As soon
pay
as I
me.
saw the Shining camera shot with the kid on the razor, going through.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, fuck. This is going to be like some weird ghosty thing. And it was. And Cage, I was waiting for Cage to blow up. I needed the roller coaster. I needed the dynamic.
Yes.
And it was so flat.
You wanted a roller coaster. You got a Scooty Puff.
I did. Yeah. I got fucking
That didn't do it for you guys? Where you see him in the class, like, doing the voices, reading the story to the kids? It's like, Father, help me, she said.
You wanted to see him drunk riding around on the Scooty scooter, doing like face-off crazy face.
Well, he said in a couple interviews that he was to prepare for it. He like observed a lot of Ellen Burstyn in The Exorcist, and he wanted to try to get that naturalism in there, and so the viewer can go on that journey with them and with him and his character. And
you know what she did, your cunting daughter?
Yeah. Like as it got more and more unreal, then like the viewer would be there with him in that, and it did not fucking come across.
That is a
like
thing
that.
that horror movies can do. Not so much this time, but
no. Well, the movie. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed watching it because it's just like one of those horror movies you can have on in the background. But but it's like there are so many things that it just did not fucking need. And if they were going to keep it, then maybe they should have like fleshed out more. Like
they had the horror cliche plot wheel.
Yeah.
Well, they could have like done away with the school teacher, priestess, druid, whatever, and they could have just had his professor friend like say,
right?
Oh yeah, I know about this lore or some shit. Like
she's kind of relegated.
The editing kind of went everywhere with that while those scenes were happening too. So you're like, who's saying what now?
Yeah,
there's like 4 different things going on at once.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, okay, so he went missing on Halloween, and then nothing happened for almost the whole fucking year. But then all of a sudden, like, I guess they're separated? ?
That's what I was wondering too. Yeah.
Well, they said that the closer it gets to that date, the two realms are closer, so the dead world can come into ours and start interacting, which I guess would explain why not a lot happens. But even still, just the way the movie was done, it's like they could have fleshed out a lot more things in between, because everything else just kind of seemed jumbled together, like just rushed to happen.
They're trying to backdoor do the race against time, and like he's being accused by it by the cop Larique Bent. You know, it's like well, you were here both times. You know.
The thing I noticed too about the cop, it's like he didn't really move the story along all that much. It's like he could have been utilized a lot better.
Yeah,
like if he had been there when Cage's like, I'm going through. Like, no, you've never done this before. I was like, neither of you. I was like, oh, that's right, you go first.
I was. If this had played out, a little more correctly, I think that's how it would have gone. You know, like they would have been tying ropes around each other and jumping into mist and stuff. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I noticed that you guys on your podcast, you had reviewed the Peggy Sue Got Married.
It's my favorite.
Yeah, this is only our second P Cage movie, by the way. After Peggy Sue Got Married.
Oh, right.
Coincidence? Yes, it is.
Yeah, we went into that not knowing at all what to expect. No. We didn't even know he was in it. Like,
and it was fantastic.
So
isn't it? Yes.
Oh, we loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great one.
Great.
We rank them right. Like that's the whole point. Towers is just looking at chick flicks that my wife gives us, and so. The fun one with that was she picked it literally like 2 minutes before we watched it. So, like, here, this one. So I didn't even have time to like look anything up. We just said fucking press play.
We're like, hey, look, it's Jim Carrey.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, came up, right? Oh shit! And then
I demand a recount.
Time travel movie. And we were like, oh shit! It was fantastic.
Yeah, with the time warp. I mean, what else could you ask for? The Declaration of Independence. You
could ask for that.
That movie was like a lifeline for us, though, because we in the early Cage career, there's so much like half-baked shit.
Oh yeah.
After Fast Times, it's like you're like in a real doldrums until that one comes along, you know. Because he did 2 Coppola movies before that too, and they both sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty. Although Criterion would say something different.
No, there's a lot of people who defend a Rumblefish, and and I can see why, because it's like aspiring to be something. It's like tries to do this kind of art house thing, and it's Coppola breaking out of his own comfort zone. It just fails.
Yeah.
Whereas the Cotton Club is just a horrible hot potato mess. Big budget.
At least he tried.
You get a gold star.
That's the most Gen Z thing you could say.
I know, right?
Hey, here's your trophy for trying.
Fucking Zoomers.
But no, fucking Peggy Sue Got Married though. It's like it was so and to this day with the movies we've gone through, it's so rare to get one that's actually like competent, good looking, and like you actually feel something.
What movie did you watch?
Compared to everything else, everything's relative.
I gotta talk to you
in
the basement.
Okay.
I'm the face. I'm the voice.
I got the hair. I got the teeth.
Holy shit! Is Nick Cage on right now?
Yeah.
I mean, my Hwang.
Hwang.
We still
with this movie.
Wait, this movie?
This specific movie, the Ghost movie, Pay the Ghost.
Taking it out and put Peggy Sue Got Married in.
Well, sure.
Yeah, there you go. That's the best thing.
It differently, which actually fixes the cop issue, because nothing ever comes with the cop.
Yeah, he just is.
Yeah.
He just witnesses a Chinese miracle and then just says fuck that and just like fucks off from the rest of the movie.
Well, then he sees the insides of the girl, and then nothing comes. Like you take him out of this movie and nothing happens.
I remember the first time I saw the insides of the girl too.
Oh my god!
The cop in Pay the Ghost is used about as well as the cops were in Suburban Sasquatch.
But I can fix that. With a simple like edit,
please.
So Nick Cage fucking walks in to that like ghost child halfway house. Fucking big dick energy is ready to go. He's ready to fight this ghost. Ghost pops up. She's just like, "You're not gonna take my kids, man." And he's just like, "Oh." He pulls out the fucking Declaration of Independence and he wrote at the bottom of it, Also, ghosts are now illegal. And then here comes that cop and arrests the ghost, and it ends just like Monty Python and Holy Grail. Yeah, that's Oscars for years.
Honestly,
I think that was a face-off.
what I was picturing is he gets the kid out, and then LaRique shows up and says, you were the kidnapper all the time, and then Cage goes off the handcuffs.
Look, your kid still has a black eye from a year. You haven't even washed him.
This child hasn't been to a doctor.
Also, think of that culture shock for that kid where it's like, why are all my friends a year older?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, that would suck so bad.
I've had nightmares like that, right? I think I had like at least one, at least two nightmares like along those same lines where like I'm almost all of a sudden younger than everybody else or some shit like that.
Oh, you like Return from the Thanos snap?
Yeah, some shit. Yeah, no, and then later on, I read a review because I was just like on Google reading people's reviews of books they thought were awful, and there was a V.C. Andrews book where that's the plot. Where this girl is convinced by her family that she's the second child to be named that, and that the first one died, and then later she gradually has to regain her memory to realize that the first one was her too.
Does she sleep with her brother in that one?
That's what I was gonna say.
She probably fucks her brother
memory from like sleeping with her brother.
Well, actually, that was a lot of these book reviews were people who were like when they were kids they read like V.C. Andrews and Piers Anthony, and they didn't realize that there was anything creepy about it until they reread it as adults.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Donnie and I used to love like the movie, and it doesn't have any incest or anything. But when
they vaguely imply it in the movie. They vaguely imply it, but they drop it immediately because they're like, oh well, there's a ratings board.
Well, when I had my back surgery and I was in the hospital, I read Flowers in the Attic, and I was like, oh my God, it seems almost like they're gonna no.
Oh, they're not practicing.
That being said, it was still an enjoyable read. So, do you guys feel we're ready to face this off?
How about our guests? Did you guys recast this movie at all?
Would I recast this movie?
Yeah, you come on. You got to come up with something.
Yeah, I would.
We all want to burn it from the inside.
So, in honor of Joel Schumacher passing, I actually
Rest in peace, Uncle Schumacher.
I decided what would be better than to replace this cast with the cast of one of my favorite Schumacher films, Flatliners.
Oh,
so you're bringing in Kiefer Sutherland and Julie Roberts.
Yes.
And Kevin Bacon.
You, sir.
Yeah.
And the third best Baldwin brother, Billy Baldwin.
Yeah.
I'm a Baldwin too.
Even worse than Adam, it's not related to them.
Okay, so I would recast this movie.
Okay.
And I'm going to need a little help from you guys to explain what the fuck I'm talking about. So, because you guys are a Nicolas Cage podcast, that means you probably specialize in Nicolas Cage movies, right?
Yeah.
Fair assumption? Okay. So there's this movie with Nicolas Cage where he like fights a woman for cake. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Fights a woman for what?
Cake. A slice of cake.
Oh.
Oh my God.
I can't think of what it is.
We've been going in order, so we started in 81 and now we're up to 2015. So if it's after...
No, this is an older movie.
This is an older one? Okay.
Yeah, he's like in the fridge. He was like, "Where did I put that piece of cake?" She's like, "You mean this cake?"
Oh, okay. That's Family Man.
Family Man.
Yeah.
That woman. Have you guys seen like the animated remix of that?
No.
No.
Well, pretty much someone remixes that scene's audio. She's like, "You want this cake? I want it. You want this cake? I want it. You want this cake? I want that cake." So,
the money.
I would replace her, that woman, as the ghost. And she's like, "You want this kid?" And that's all I do. But I'll take Stein's information, you guys. I'll send you that video, and you go like, "Oh my God, how did I not know about this?"
Yay! Thank you.
Not a problem. That's free.
Our gift.
Yeah.
Yay! I want him.
Is Haley Joel
You've got to pay up.
I want to listen to them watching it.
You've got to pay up. You mean my whang?
My wang.
Trying to pay the fiddler.
Would have it just been a nice ghost doing nice things? The ghost's just like, pay it forward. Like, pay the ghost? No, pay it forward.
I did a random act of kindness. It's your turn now.
All right, well, I got a face off for this damn thing.
I just pulled up the video that Alex said, so I'm gonna send it to you guys.
There you go.
Excellent.
For the ghost in my face off, my ghost is Tina Turner.
Oh God, yeah.
For Cage, Oliver Reed. For the wife, Anne Margaret.
Wait, is this Tommy?
Yes.
I remember the joke.
And Roger Daltrey's the kid. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the joke.
It's a boy, Mrs. Walker. It's a boy. A son.
I think it's all right.
Yes, I think it's all right.
Donnie?
So, bear with me because this was a 90s idea.
Ooh.
Mike Lawford is Adam Sandler. Kristen is Adam Sandler. Jordan is Eddie Murphy. Charlie is David Spade. And the ghost is played by Chris Farley.
Ghosty Day Camp.
Dead Chris Farley or alive Chris Farley?
What's the name?
Actually, if you want to go with realism, we're going with Ghost
He lives in a
Farley.
van down by the river state.
But if we want to be funny, we'll go with coked up Chris Farley.
The man down by the river is the cabin, basically.
Yes, exactly. They have
Not a lot of room.
Van by the river.
Not a lot of room.
I need 3 kids to go with me to my home.
Oh, well, my face off, if I may interject.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I was thinking, as far as I kind of went a little bit serious with it. I usually go for funny, but I was thinking John Cusack would be. I could see them interchanging in that role. As far as Kristen goes, I thought she was fine. I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
she's playing to her type. I mean, that's the screaming mom. That's what she does. No offense.
That's all she does. She doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and she absolutely will not stop ever.
So does John Cusack just hold up a boombox to the ghost and hoping that she
Yes.
plays Peter Gabriel, and the ghost is like, "Oh fuck yeah, you can have your kid back."
Oh God, no.
On a serious note, though, I mean, Cusack does do better horror films than Cage does.
True.
I can see them kind of do it. It'd probably be exactly the same though, if we're honest.
Oh no!
No offense to him, but
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you wouldn't
that's-
have him playing Peter Gabriel. Be playing like a remix version, like some Limp Bizkit cover of a song. and-
Oh God! The light, the heat.
but otherwise, I was just like, leave it as it is, because I was trying, and I'm just like, fuck it, this movie's not worth it.
This movie isn't
Good
about
on
trying.
you.
It's about giving in.
Yeah.
For mine, I wanted to give the director, writer credit to Elijah Wood. But then I thought about it and thought, no, you know what? Who would be perfect is Uwe Boll.
You just went laterally. You're like, we got a mediocre German here. I'll just replace him with an awful German. Let's just do that.
I didn't know Pay the Ghost was once a video game.
It is now.
Well, Pay the Ghost was almost as good as Assault on Wall Street and Rampage.
For Mike, I had Karen Black.
Okay.
And to be honest, I don't know why, but she just kept popping out, and like I had to put her in there.
Put on a rap proper shirt.
I'll show you a trilogy of terror. Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
And for Kristen, I'm going with an oldie but goodie of mine, shirtless Idris Elba. Because first choice Idris
As
Elba.
the ghost.
Yeah.
No, for as the mom.
Okay. Play anybody in that movie. That's fine with
Agenda
me.
bending.
He can be like that cat from Cats. You know, that delicate cat. That one.
It's funny that Adrian went with Tina Turner, because for Hannah I have which I believe is the professor friend.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Angela Bassett.
Oh, damn right.
And,
you like.
Yeah, that's my name. And as Annie, I have Tony Basil, and as the blind homeless dude, I have Tommy Wiseau, just older
Naturally,
Tommy Wiseau. Yeah.
I mean, I almost did
Dreads.
Tommy also.
Well, I mean, you can't not, like, once you see him there.
Well, yeah, I wanted to going with the theme though, so he's either Jack Nicholson or Keith Moon in my version.
True. Yeah, okay. Were y'all able to find any cagey wisdom?
Don't go to the fair.
If you never stop believing that your kid was somehow not the victim of a murderous rapist, then just maybe he'll have been kidnapped by a supernatural rapist instead.
Oh, Jesus.
Did the ghost rape the kids?
We don't know that the ghost
We
did
don't know
not
what
rape
the
the
ghost
kids.
did to the kids.
I'm just saying. Nowadays, this is the thought process, right? Because since we're in it's 2020 right now or some year, so it's like the children. Oh no, somebody's going to get the children. They're going to get the children and take the children. Even worse, when they take the children, they will touch the children.
Where?
It's all in a line. That's all in the line nowadays. So we have to accuse the ghost of ghost, show us on the doll what you did to these kids. You had a bunch of kids. I mean,
The Bible did never say Jesus wasn't a vampire or a velociraptor even.
What I'm saying.
Actually, if you load up a PDF of the Bible, hit Control F and search for goblin. Jesus was a goblin.
Oh, good to know.
Cross class.
That or he was the band goblin.
The Bible, by the way, Jesus is goblin.
Oh my God.
In a hole in the ground lived Jesus.
It's Nilbog. Nilbog spelled backwards. It's Jesus.
He and his buddies are hanging out eating, and somebody throws the ball. It says, "Eat before we eat you." I have a second wisdom too, by the way. It's maybe if you humor your kid and tell them that you can also see the devil vultures flying around, then just maybe they won't get abducted.
Yeah.
Parenting moment there.
Like,
No, my
Dad,
little
you see
man,
the ghost?
you're crazy.
Don't stare at the ghost, son.
Yeah.
I've got some good wisdom.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So it's a practice I've done at work for many years. If you just keep a fuck ton of files in your desk and someone calls you lazy, you just whip those bad boys on the fucking table. No one asks questions after that. They're like, nope, fuck them files.
I put a bunch of pieces of paper inside this manila folder. I am working. You're
I
welcome.
have to admit I've done that before.
There were definitely things on those papers. It was just like...
Butts.
No, it was just like a search result for like Michelle Obama nude reel.
Like, are you familiar with my portfolio of dicks I've drawn?
So you're aware of our work.
I am a graphic designer, thank you.
This is if Angela Lansbury was Nicolas Cage and she had a huge penis.
Like, it's not even like cool how big it is. It's just annoying.
Oh yeah. It's like you're going through the porn and you get to the one where it's like you just
I can relate
overdid
to that
it.
so hard.
She's had to sit down 3 times.
Well, in Cabot Cove, Maine, everybody's that big.
Maybe that's some cold dicks. I mean, with the whirlwind of children, I mean...
Oh, Christ.
Nothing kills a boner harder than a whirlwind of ghost children.
Sweet cousin cocaine lay a cold hand on my dick?
I mean, that would be kind of perfect if like the ghost was like whisked off or taken care of by a whirlwind of dicks. Oh my God, no.
So you're saying this is essentially Ghost Rider 3, where Nick Cage reveals, I'm the ghost you pay.
No,
and then his skull sets fire.
I was really pissed. I just kept thinking, you know what? They could save this movie if he has to look the other two kids in the eyes and tell them,
no,
sorry, no.
Yeah. When he said we don't have time, I thought he was gonna leave them.
It sounded like it, didn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
I thought he was just gonna go ew and just grab his kid.
Yeah, that's the part of the movie where you find out that Cage's character was really awful the whole time. It's like,
yeah, he's just a giant racist. He's like,
you find out that he's a white supremacist.
He just gives a really awkward hug. It's like not even a hug, just like a little pat.
by the way, Sam, got you a new hat. Great, Nick.
I'll tell your parents hi. I guess we gotta go. Sorry, sorry.
Pay the ghost is street lingo for KKK, whoever protection racket.
But hey, this all reminds me that they had they had some weird sort of clunky exposition in the beginning that like saying that he was a drunk. He had a struggle with alcoholism.
What?
And
what? I feel like I missed something huge right now.
There is the part where he sees the room full of ghost children and he drops his frou-frou wine glass.
Sure, part of it. It's also a room full of children. You get enough of them, they can whirlwind your dick right off. I would have dropped the wine too.
Take that girl?
Chick Flix with a whirlwind of dicks.
That's our season 2 tagline.
The ghost made me drop my wine and my pants.
When he's talking to the professor friend, and he just got the letter saying that he's been given tenure. She says something like, "You've come a long way from the drunk Yankee that you were when I first met you," or something like that.
He drank himself out of
Germany under the table or something.
He drank himself out of some indescript German city. I don't remember what it was.
It was Dusseldorf, of course.
Well, I thought that they were gonna go somewhere with that, and like, you know, maybe he's
that
becoming
would be like having scenes.
That was the entire movie.
Yeah,
that was my Cage's wisdom piece that I took, is that you can start a ton of stuff, but you never have to finish it.
Like, what you're saying is this whole movie is just get on with it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like that Dennis Quaid movie, Smart People, right? Where they think they're making like a Little Miss Sunshine type of movie, but then they have all these for some reason every scene has the quote dramatically poignant moment, and then it just ends. And it always says, somebody asks a question, it's like, so why do you want your girlfriend back anyway? Ba-dum-bum. And then it just cuts. It's like, I bet he had an answer to that and everything. We just don't get to see it.
Well, I bet it's one of those things that are actually like fleshed out in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Or the novelization that we're writing.
If you get up the stones to read it, go for it.
Oh, Donnie, were you able to find any cagey wisdom?
Yeah, just pay the driver and then the ghost goes away, I guess. You know, it's if it's a ghost cab. Otherwise, I ain't afraid of no ghost. So yeah.
I can't believe they didn't make a Ghostbusters reference here.
Yeah.
You're in New
Bustin'
York.
makes me feel good.
Yes.
When he was walking across the bridge, I was waiting for like Goes with the Destroyer just pop up somewhere.
Oh man. Choose.
We are.
But you have a lovely singing voice too.
I was thinking of introducing myself as Zool. There is no
There's no
Zool.
only
Don't ask me, are you a god?
Well, yeah.
There is no Dana Alcar, only MacGyver.
So, Kristen, were you able to find any KG wisdom?
Yeah, $6 is way too much for a rainbow sprinkle cone.
No,
Dude,
That's New York for you.
That's New York, I guess.
I actually had a thought about that $6 cone.
What?
Yeah.
So he gave him money. One bill said keep the change. So either he tipped like a fuck ton of percent, like what, 80%?
Yeah.
Or he stiffed him and gave him the 5. And so that fucking dude,
That's why the dude's like,
Irish cultist,
I don't know.
He's just like, oh, that kid's getting kidnapped by a fucking ghost tonight.
It's just gonna happen. Fuck
And that's
you,
why he had to pay
guy.
the ghost. That's why it's called pay the ghost.
Yeah.
You had a chance, but now it's over for you.
But with a year of interest, it's $1.10.
Do not
Where's
fuck
my
with New York street vendors.
$2?
Yes, the ghost was the newspaper boy screaming for $2.
$2.50.
That's why you were thinking John Cusack, Kristen. I mean, how much wisdom is there to glean from this fucking movie?
Here's the wisdom. What do you guys envision as the straight-to-video sequel to this?
Pay the ghost too.
Yeah, Pay the Ghost 2.
Pay the ghost to what?
PTG 2.
Pay the ghost to...
Maybe
Pay
Tip
to the-
Ghost.
Pay to the order of.
Overdue Boogaloo. The landlord ghost.
Or leave a nice Yelp review for the ghost.
Give panic, so my kid would recommend.
See, that's my wisdom. Okay, if you want to lose your child in New York, you're going to need to find a festival.
Yeah, you've given up like 6, right?
Right, yeah. And 3 of them found me.
And if we step away from the charred sarcophagus, I think we'll find where the fine folks listening can find us.
Where can they find us at?
Well,
In the
their
charred
sorrows.
chest.
Please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss on Apple Podcast and Podchaser, and check out our stuff on YouTube. Also, check out our Patreon, and you can pay us Hungry Ghost, I guess, at patreon.com/Cage's Kiss. Remember, you can find us on Facebook and on Twitter, although I'm going to be honest, I'm mostly active on Twitter, and I am sadly behind on Instagram. But you can find us at Cage's Kiss there. And you can check out our website that has all that awesome Adrian Cage art at cageskiss.com. Or you can write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. We love them emails. And you could send Donnie and Adrian those fleshlights at our P.O. box. And check out my other show, Bedknobs and Broomflicks. It's BROOMFLICKS. We just covered the second book in the Throne of Glass series, Crown of Midnight. So, yeah. Adrian, what you got going on?
Oh, well, as usual, I too have a Patreon under Leo the Fox, LEOTHEFOX, all run together, all lowercase. I would really like your money because I really hate my job. And I am still unspeakably poor from having paid for my car repair out of pocket. You can also find me on DeviantArt under the same thing. And my Cage art goes to those places also. So, throw me $1 or $3, please.
Donnie?
Ooh. I am proud to say I am the boy who blew over on Pornhub. I am also Unreal Goals on Twitter. And I also, when we have artwork that looks fancy and nasty, I'm going to be Unreal Goals on YouTube. Ooh. Ranting, doing movie reviews, and spoopy stories. And then I toss it over to Kristen, because I'm not going to Linda. Haha. You always did this shit.
You can find me on Twitter at CoffinCast with a capital C. That's my other podcast where I talk about death and stuff. And you can also hear me in Dispatches of Disassociation, which is really late. And you can also hear Linda there. So you gotta listen.
it's actually really, really good too.
Yeah. It's on charts and shit in Australia. I don't know.
It's
Gypsies
eating us.
love it.
Crikey.
So, what can you tell us about your awesome podcast?
Special guests. Yes.
Gentlemen.
Oh, shit. I thought you were talking about Kristen's podcast.
Well, before you answer anything,
Sorry.
Go for it.
yeah, he's kind of the boss, so he's going to take that question. But I have a very quick question. Have you fucked cottage cheese yet?
It's not as hard as ricotta.
Because it sounds like stirring macaroni. And stirring macaroni also sounds like sex. I think we're on to a conspiracy. What's our podcast?
Mayonnaise and a kielbasa jar.
Also, make sure you clean really well after.
God
I feel like they
almighty.
get everywhere, like sand.
I feel like it's just packaged smegma.
Basically.
Well, people have equated mayonnaise to packaged smegma, so
That's why
yes.
you put a pineapple on it.
Yes.
It's more like you get the vegan version.
Or a tomato slice.
It's made with
Vegan
farm
eggs.
fresh eggs.
So we run our podcast, Chick Flix with Dicks. We finished up season 1 at the end of last year, and we've been recovering a little bit. That was intense, especially since we both have bought houses, moved, changed jobs, took over a business, like all within the last.
Hostile takeover.
And then
That bitch is dead.
and then
He's not. He's my father, and I love him. He's retired. I'm very happy.
and then
Don't fuck with these guys.
and then obviously, we had the whole COVID thing. So we've been recording remotely episodes, getting ready to launch season 2, that'll start in July. So
And actually, this is our first time recording together since COVID hit.
yeah, we haven't recorded
Oh.
anything together since
Yeah.
last December.
Yeah.
We reunited you?
Yes. Yeah, we finally got back together. So
Aww.
yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You can find us on Instagram, Chick Flix with Dicks. The Flix is spelled with an X. And then also over on Twitter, we're pretty active with Chick Flix WD because apparently with Dicks was taken from I don't know. So
We'll kill him.
yeah, we'll get it eventually.
Also, if you search for us CFWD, it seems to come up easier.
Yeah, that's the hashtag that runs pretty easy. So,
Yeah.
but we're on
Just like me.
Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, all the good stuff, all the normal stuff. So, yeah, come check us out. We rank random chick flicks, and really we watch movies and debate as to whether or not they are chick flicks, because we argued that Peggy Sue Got Married was not a chick flick.
Yeah.
So
It's too good.
yeah,
I
it
can
was
definitely see that.
it was a sci-fi film. It was not with a
Yeah.
female
I
lead.
agree.
It was not a chick flick. So
Have you
Yeah.
guys done while you were sleeping yet?
we
No,
have not.
No, not yet, and I can't wait to do it.
For me, that is like the chick flick.
I
Like
mean,
if you if we're to
episode
put chick
one
flick in the dictionary.
for traveling pants.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's peak chick flick.
Oh
my god, these pants fit. Oh my god, it fits me too.
And
And me. And this girl back.
Oh shit. Oh yeah, no, I saw that. I came home from college one summer. My sister had it. Oh, that's also how I saw that Eliza Dushku show, True Calling.
Oh.
I don't know that one.
That existed.
Doosh.
I love that one year, like I think we were still in college, and Adrian gave me the greatest line of "She puts the douche in douche-coo."
Hollywood agreed with you.
I take
Well, if
the
you
fun
see,
out of
like-
fundamentalist Christian.
Oh no.
If you see those like old episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer where she's on there, she's also very heavily Canadian.
Deeply Canadian.
Yes.
Eh?
Like, I'm expecting her to like walk into a scene with a box of Timmy Hoes.
I'm an American cheerleader, you guys, right?
Powdered milk.
And with that, you'll be hearing from us next week when we cover The Trust, which you can watch
Yay!
streaming on Netflix, or you can rent it on Amazon or Redbox or any of the usual suspects. But
Finally, one that doesn't suck.
yeah, and hey, we get we get Elijah Wood in there.
Yeah.
We got Wood.
You got wood. All right.
And thank you so much, you guys, for showing up. Like you guys are awesome.
Yeah, most people
Thanks
don't.
for having us.
Thanks for having us.
That's true.
Most people deny knowing us.
There's always room for dicks in here.
Oh,
crazy. There we go. Always room for more dicks.
That's officially going to be the subtitle of this episode, Whirlwind of Dicks.
I love how my biggest legacy on this fucking earth, if you Google me, is just all these dick jokes.
It's dick jokes.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have like great grandchildren do some ancestry shit, and they're like, "Oh my god!" So
your dick catalog.
Yeah.
Your great grandfather was very important in the dick joke industry.
He was
a pioneer.
Hooded and unhooded.
Your father started this porn shop with nothing but a wall and a hole in the wall.
Well, the episode's now longer than the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about it. Oh. Any of you got a clever closing for this one?
Charlie! Charlie! Charlie, can you hear me? Can you feel me near you?
Grandpa, it's okay. We're just going to the chocolate factory later. We'll be fine.
No! Busy lifting drinks!
I think I might drive through.
Cage. Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please. Kiss me.
Hi, I'm Dietrich.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Ben.
We're from the podcast That Song from That Movie, the journey through the very best and worst of movie songs.
We want you to join us on our voyage across the cinematic sound waves as we take a deep dive on a new song and movie each week to figure out just what makes them tick.
Already we've set sail with Celine Dion on the Titanic, found a friend in Toy Story, and gotten drenched out in the rain with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Hopefully each breakdown allows us to answer the ultimate question of what's better, the movie or the song. Or at least learn something new along the way.
Just like learning that Toy Story 4 is a meaningless cash grab without a soul.
You can subscribe right now on all good podcast platforms. If you use one of the bad ones, then that's on you, and we can't be held responsible.
Subscribe to That Song from That Movie.